Everyday Life by Chris Berge. Have you ever thought that someday you might need to worry about how much you will have to pay for water? Well, during this reading, it may make you want to change some of the things that you do every day. While reading this paper, you will learn a lot of very interesting facts about the world's water and what is happening to it. First of all, the pollution and the companies slash factories are dumping oils into the water. The second thing that will be brought to your attention will be the pollutions on the beach or the floating trash pile. Thirdly, the fact that the wetlands in the U.S. are drying up and the population of the migratory birds, or food for some of us, is dropping dramatically. If this isn't fixed, not only will we lose water but also food. Lastly, we will learn a bit about how much some of the more poor countries pay for their water, which in some countries could be up to nearly a quarter of their salary. Again, have you ever thought to yourself how much you might have to pay for water? First of all, here are some statistics about how much water the factory uses. They use well over 50% of the Earth's fresh water. If they keep this up, there will soon be no more water. And this could be a very big problem. Here is a quote from an article called Water, Water Everywhere. About 65% of the world's fresh water goes to industrial agriculture, which uses water in a much bigger and higher rate than the small, self-sufficient family farmers who are being replaced. This quote is very important to prove my point, because with the factors doing this, we will run out of water soon. Think about it. If you keep taking away 65% of the water, there will soon be no more to take. This next quote that will be mentioned is explaining how the United States is trying to give away water. This isn't good because we need water just as much as the other countries. Now corporations want to ship river and lake water across the ocean to Asia in giant bladders. As you could imagine, this could be a very big problem if they're using that much water in the factories, and then now they want to just give the water away. The corporations don't realize what they are doing, and the employees just do what they're told so that they're able to earn a paycheck. They most likely don't know what they are doing to the rest of us. Secondly, there's another small article that talks about the amount of water consumption in the United States as compared to every other place in the world. According to the article Ecological Footprints, the average person in the United States needs nearly 10 more hectares than any other person in the world. Planet reports the U.S. ecological footprints was 12.2 hectares per person, or more than 30 acres. In contrast, each resident in India requires only 1.06 hectares, or just over 2.5 acres, to maintain his or her livelihood per year. That's crazy that we need that much compared to everyone else. This needs to stop soon, or there will be no more land. If all of this nonsense keeps up, there will soon be no more fresh water and no more waterfowl. That being said, there will be no more humanity. Ecological Footprints is basically telling the reader that we need to stop what we are doing in order to help in the long run. Like it was stated before, without land, water, and migratory birds, there will be nothing for us to live off. Most of the people that hunt for their food are poor anyway. The third thing that will get mentioned will be the problems in the wetlands where the ducks and other migratory birds live. The way everything has been going in the United States has lost a lot of their wetlands, causing the migratory birds or our food to go away to other spots. This is hard on the middle class because they get a lot of their food by hunting and fishing. With the way everything is going downhill soon, the hunting and fishing will go downhill with everything else. California has lost 95% of their wetlands, and populations of migratory birds and waterfowl have dropped from 60 million in 1950 down to 3 million now. This is, as you can see, is a big problem. Not only are the wetlands going away, but with them, so are the birds. With that being said, this also means that the fish will die off as well. With no fish, no birds, that's two foods right there out of the water that we may not have a lot of in the future if this keeps up. During this article, it also says that about 35 or 37% of America's freshwater fish are at risk of extinction. 51% of catfish, 40% of amphibians, and 67% of freshwater mussels, mostly from poisoned waters or runoff from agriculture industries. This is terrible to read from me being a hunter and fisherman. This makes me sick to see this. But from some people's point of view, it may not be as bad. They might not see the damages being done. It's the ones in the factories that don't know what they are doing. Now to talk about the families that will soon have to pay a good portion of their salary to companies for drinking water. This is not such a problem over in the United States, but in the other poor countries it is, however. For instance, in India, families pay 25% of their income for drinking water. If they are paying for their drinking water, it makes you think this won't happen to the U.S. soon as well. During this reading, there were a lot of disturbing facts. Thinking that I may have to pay for water would be a terrible thing. Poor residents in Lima and Peru pay $3 for cubic meter of often contaminated water. More than 5 million people, mostly children, die every year from bad drinking water. This is sickening. They make them pay for their water and then give them bad water. Not only is that ridiculous, but they have to pay for their water, but now they're getting bad water and it's killing off their loved ones. Lastly, we'll go over the Great Lakes and how they are being affected by all of this. There are plants and animals dying off around the lakes from the pollution. In addition, 400 species, 300 of which are plants, are listed by provincial and state jurisdictions as endangered, threatened, or special concern. This is not good. These species and plants are there for a reason and need to be saved. Among those, the birds, insects, and other small animals that don't have the power to do anything themselves. We need to save them and make a difference. Another thing that the Great Lakes are losing is a lot of their wetlands. Again, without the wetlands, there will be no more birds. If we push all the birds away, one less food source for us as well. In conclusion, this is a terrible thing and it must stop. There are a lot of terrible things going on that I had no idea that was going on before I read this. I think that more people should know about this, and maybe then some of this would stop. If this doesn't stop, and there will soon be no more water or food for us to eat or drink. Water is one of the main things for us humans to survive. Without it, whole population and humanity will suffer. With that being said, again, have you ever thought about how much you might have to pay for water in the future? Well, if this keeps up, you might want to start saving, because only the rich and wealthy will be able to afford clean drinking water. And that is all.